Oh, hello. Welcome to Chair Yoga for working on your balance. My name is Rebecca and thank you so much for joining me for this video. For some of our practice today, we'll be sitting in our chairs, and for other parts of our practice, we'll be standing up using the chair for support. Let's dive in. Extend your feet, lifting them both off of the floor. If you prefer to do this one foot at a time, that's no problem. And let's just start by, with the breath, inhale to flex the feet. That's the feeling of pushing the heels forward, pulling the toes back. And then exhale to point the toes. And then just moving at a comfortable, relaxed pace for you with the breath. And it's nice, I enjoy watching my feet as I do this to see, are they both able to move through this motion smoothly? And does it seem like they both have a similar range of motion, or can you visibly see that one is a little bit stiffer than the other, which is really normal. So don't worry if that is the case for you. Now the next time that you flex your feet, so they're pulling back, let's pause. Keep your ankles in that flexed position, but can you point the toes? So it's like the toes are curling in. This might feel weird or even crampy, but just notice, take a breath. And then relax all that. Let's point the toes so the ankles are really in that pointed foot position. Keep that, but then just pull the toes back towards you. Good. And then relax that. Let's lower the feet for a moment. Take a breath. And let's lift the feet up again. This time, instead of doing sort of a forward back movement with the feet, as you inhale, can the feet turn slightly so the soles of the feet face each other? And as you exhale, can the feet turn slightly away from each other? As you're doing this, cast a glance at your knees. Your knees should be still. So if they're trying to bend or turn out to the sides, like with the feet, you don't want that to happen. You could even put your hands on your knees to remind them to stay still, and just let this come from the ankles. Good, let's relax the feet down. You might feel some warmth in your ankles. You might notice some of that effort. Take a pause. And then we'll lift the feet again and we'll circle the ankles. So again, knees staying still, not moving all around. This is just coming from the ankles. And then moving the other direction. Wonderful. And then relax your feet and let's stand up. So I'm going to position my chair this way. You can face your chair if you like, actually. Or if you do this. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. But if you like to have both hands on the chair, that's great. And we're going to stand first feet about hip distance apart in what we would call our mountain pose, hands on the front of the chair for support. Now we're just going to stretch out the toes a little bit. So I'm going to come up onto the ball of my foot. So I'm kind of really flexing from the toes, and I can even step my right foot behind my left a little bit. And I can have my toes on the floor and just rock my heel back, like I'm pushing it to the floor, and then forward over the toes. Only do this to the extent that's comfortable. So you're not trying to feel any strain in the toes, but you're just noticing how much stretch there's available today. And then you can find kind of a counter stretch by, here I'll turn this way, sort of, is it possible to bring the toenails to the floor? See that? Might not be possible. Again, this is all just an exploration, and you can kind of rock side to side if that works for you. See how I'm trying to get into the baby toes too, not just the big toe. So we're exploring all around the foot. And then let's do that with the left foot. So I'm going to step my left foot back a little bit. So I'm up on the toes, and then I'm going to let my heel move towards the back of my mat, and then I'm going to bring my heel forward over my toes as far as is comfortable. And I'm just going to go forward and back a couple of times. Good, and then we can find on this little counter stretch by seeing if the nail of the toe can be on the floor. And then if you kind of rock the heel left to right, this might feel totally weird, and that's fine if it does. But just noticing how much range of motion do your toes have, what feels good, what does not. And then we'll do a little stretch for the top of the foot now. So I'm going to step my right foot back again, but instead of, see how my toes are tucked under like we did in the previous exercise, I'm going to have the toenail, so the top of the toes, and even a little bit of the top of my foot on the floor. And then depending on if the back leg is straight or if the knee is bent, and also how long your stance is, you might feel this more in the toes or more in the foot or even the front of the ankle. Just noticing here, hanging out in a place that's comfortable, breathing. And then you can step the right foot in and we'll do a little release for the ankle. So come up onto the ball of the foot again and circle the ankle one way and the other direction. Good, and then let's do that with the left leg. So I've stepped the left foot back. So the top of my toes and some of the top of my foot is on the mat. And then you might just hang it like this. The back knee could be bent or straight. You might play around between the two, feeling the stretch. And then we'll step the left foot in. Again, come up onto the ball of the foot and then circle the heel one way and then the other. And then now, with our hands on our chair, standing up right, just nice and tall, but in a relaxed way, feet again about hip distance apart, we're going to really bring our awareness down into the feet. So you might close your eyes for this if you like. Take a moment to sense where you automatically distribute your weight. And if you don't really know, if it's hard to tell, then just take a moment to shift the weight forward into the ball of the foot, and then shift the weight back more into the heels. And this is just a little rocking action forward and back. And let's exaggerate that now to get the ankles a little bit more involved. So rock the weight forward into the balls of the foot and then lift the heels as high as you can comfortably. Slowly lower the heels down with control, shift the weight back, and can the balls of the foot lift up? And then weight forward into the balls of the foot and the toes, heels lift, heels gently lower with control, and the fronts of the feet lift off the floor. You can do this with both hands on your chair. You could take one hand away, or you could hover your hands over the chair. So you can catch yourself if you need. Working to go slow and smooth, not too choppy. Noticing, is any part of this movement, what's the most difficult part of this movement? That's always interesting. It's like where the real prize is to be won. And we're trying not to let the ankles bow out. Good, and then you can bring the soles of the feet to the floor, trying to settle the weight so that it feels pretty evenly distributed between front and back of the foot. And then noticing, do you feel like more weight is to the inside edge or the outside edge? And we can even just sort of shift the body a little bit side to side and deliberately shifting the weight into the outer edge of the foot and then the inner edge of the foot. Seeing for yourself, does one of these feel more comfortable? One of these feel like, oh, I hang out here sometimes? And then we can come back to center. Now when we're balancing, we want to feel like we're grounding these 3 points of the standing foot into the floor evenly. And those 3 points are the mat of the base of the big toe, the mat of the base of the pinky toe, and the heel. So that's like the tripod that the foot stands on. So now coming back to mountain pose, with that awareness of the tripod, hands can be on the chair if you like, close the eyes, and then just try to evenly distribute your weight through those 3 points. Relax the toes, and be curious about, does one of those points feel hard to get weight to go into? It's interesting when there's one. For me, it's like it's the mat of the base of the pinky toe is usually the one where I have to be more intentional about pressing that spot into the floor, as well as the mat of the base of the big toe and the heels. When you feel like you've got that pretty well, just pause, take a breath here, just feel that sort of engagement in your feet. And then relax the feet. We're going to come back into our chairs. So I'm repositioning my chair again so that I can sit. And we're going to do a little bit of sort of warm up and movement for the trunk now. So for our seated or sort of our chair cat-cow, I like to sit more in the middle or even to the front of my chair so that I have more room to move. Your chair might have arms in it. You could hold on to the arms of your chair or have your hands on your legs. As you inhale, draw the shoulders back, puff the heart and belly forward, maybe lift the gaze if that feels good on the neck. Exhale, round the back, slouching back and bowing your head. And then just moving with your breath, your inhale to pull the front of the body open and your exhale to really round through the back and curl in on yourself. A couple more times. Wonderful. And then we'll come up nice and tall, and instead of finding flexion and extension of the spine, we'll find rotation. So let's find genie arms, stacking the forearms one on top of the other. As you inhale, get tall through the crown. Think about your crown lifting to the ceiling. As you exhale, twist. So just let the upper body turn to the left or to the right, doesn't matter, and let the head follow. Every inhale brings you back to facing forward. So we're untwisted, and then on the exhale, turn through the upper body to look the other direction. Moving just in a relaxed way with your breath. Noticing if it feels easier to turn one way or the other. And the next time that you inhale to center, exhale to relax your arms. Now we'll find a lateral stretch, so side stretch. Again, if you have arms on your chairs, you could put, I'm going to have my right hand holding on to sort of the seat of my chair, but if you had an arm that would make more sense to grab, that's fine. We'll inhale, reach the left arm overhead, and as you exhale, we're leaning over like a variation of crescent moon, leaning over to the right. Inhale to come up to vertical, and as you exhale, we're going to come over to the right again. One more time. Exhaling, and then inhale to vertical, exhale, right, left hand lowers. Inhale, reach the right arm up, exhale, crescent moon to the left. Inhale to come up tall, on your exhale, finding the stretch. And one more time. Inhaling to lift up, and exhaling to relax. Now we can bring the hands to the shoulders, elbows to the shoulder height unless that doesn't work for you. And as you inhale, draw the elbows back, shine the heart forward, maybe look up. Exhale to bring the elbows towards each other and bow the head. And then just moving with your breath, your inhale is to open through the front of the body, and exhaling is to round and feel the shoulder blades moving apart. A couple more times. Last inhale, exhaling to bring the elbows towards each other, and then relax your arms. Let's come back to a standing position. So I'm repositioning my chair. This time I'm going to face you just for sort of clarity and simplicity. But again, it's fine to have both hands on the chair and face the chair this way. First, we're going to start in our mountain pose, mindful of the tripod. So taking a moment to find a hip distance apart stance. Really feel your feet on the floor. If it helps you close your eyes, you might do so just so you can really feel your feet. And try to evenly distribute weight in through the 3 points at the base of each foot. Mount at the base of the big toe, mount at the base of the pinky toe, and heel. Now for this next exercise, the left foot is going to be the standing foot first. So you're going to really focus on the left foot and how it's grounded like it is currently, the 3 points pressing into the floor. Maintaining that grounding, slowly shift weight into the left foot and hover the right foot off of the floor. We're just going to hold here. Got a hand on our support, And we're just pausing and feeling the engaged foot and ankle grounding into the floor through the tripod. If you feel like this is pretty easy, you could hover your hand off of your chair. Another thing that helps balance, that doesn't have to do with the feet, would be to be staring at a spot that is not moving. It's actually very tough to close your eyes and balance. Without using the chair for support, you might feel, as I do, a bit wobbly in the foot. So we're trying to actively stabilize, ground the 3 points of the tripod into the floor. Now let's have the hand on the chair and lower the right foot for a moment. We're not quite done with the left foot. We're going to hold on to our chair, ground into the left foot, hover the right foot off of the floor. Now we're going to introduce a destabilizing force by moving the right foot around. So I like to imagine that I'm spelling out my name. But when I gave that cue to students one time, some of them complained that they were so focused on writing out the letters of their name that it was hard to be aware of the standing foot. So think about sort of the similar movements of writing your alphabet, writing the alphabet or writing letters with the foot, but all that really means is just random small movements that can be a bit destabilizing. And all the while you're trying to ground down to the 3 points of the tripod of your left foot. If this feels, again, pretty easy, then the next step, should you choose, would be to hover your hand or hands off your chair. Grounding through the tripod of your left foot, finding those little movements. And then let's bring both feet to the floor. And if you want to sort of shake out your legs, walk back and forth, that's fine. Really nice work, everyone. Now let's do that little sequence on the other side. So right foot's going to be the standing foot. Starting in mountain pose, feel the mat at the base of your big toe, pinky toe, and your heel, especially in the right foot. Really connect those points to the floor. And then when you're ready, you can have your hand on your chair and lift your left foot off the ground. And we're just pausing here. We're breathing here, noticing, has lifting the foot off of the ground changed this, made it more difficult? Working to stabilize and keep the foot engaged. And then if you could sit here, this is great, or if you want more challenge, you can remove your hand or hands from the chair and keep working to stabilize the standing foot and ankle and ground actively through the 3 points of the tripod. All right, let's lower that foot down just for a moment. Hand can be back on the chair. And then once again, ground through your standing foot. Bend your left knee, lift it up. Noticing how this feels. It's fine to stay at this level if you prefer. So with this exercise, every time you get to like a different level where you think, oh, this is challenging enough for me, you can hang out there. That's sort of the level that's good for you to work out. If you want to start moving this left foot around any which way, that could be a little bit destabilizing. I invite you to do so if you like, all the while continuing to actively ground through your standing foot. And then again, if this is challenging enough, stay here, or if you want to have both hands off of any kind of support, you could certainly do so if you want to, all the while cultivating grounding and stability in the standing foot. Both feet to the floor. Whew, that might feel like a lot. You can shake your legs out if you like. And now we'll find our one leg stand. This is a fantastic posture to work on. One of my favorite places is to work on it at the grocery store because of course you have a cart right there, so if you feel unsteady you can put your hands on it if you're waiting for a long time in line. And I love this pose because it's so strengthening for the core, for the muscles all around the pelvis, for your hips, for your glutes, and though also for your stabilizer muscles in your hips and your ankles. And certainly it's good practice for balance and for your feet. So it's like you get so many like movement nutrients in this position that I can't get enough of it personally. And it's very simple. You can have a hand on your chair if you like, stand it nice and tall. Our left foot's going to be our standing foot first. So ground into the tripod of your standing foot just like you did a moment ago. And then you're going to bend your right knee and lift it forward and up as high as feels right for you today. It's okay if that isn't very high, like you can keep your right toes close to the floor in case they need to touch down. But lift it to a height where that feels manageable, but still like a little bit challenging for you. We don't want to collapse into one hip, so think about the hips lifting up, the core drawing in and up, and we're standing really nice and tall. Hand might stay on the chair the whole time, or if you want to have your hands on hips or arms out, it's up to you. We'll take 3 more breaths. As you next exhale, you can lower the right foot down, shake it out. Just heard the wind whistle through the trees. All right, let's do the other side. Right foot is the standing foot. Take a moment before the left foot's off the ground, anchor down through your tripod of your right foot. Be mindful of not collapsing into the pelvis, collapsing into the hips, but rather staying lifted, staying strong, and then bending your left knee and lifting your foot any height that you like. So again, it's not a contest. Keep stabilizing through the standing foot. Stay with a hand on support, or again, any arm position that suits you, that feels stabilizing, is perfect. We'll take 3 more breaths. As you next exhale, both feet come to the floor. You can shake out the legs a little bit. I sometimes even like to literally shake out the legs to release some of that effort. That can feel like a lot. Now we're going to come back into our chairs to close our practice. Slow it down. So we'll sit down, and first, before we completely close, we'll find a forward fold position, which can be a really nice way to relax and to help the nervous system to sort of calm down. When we're doing that kind of really precise strengthening work for our stabilizer muscles, we can get a little bit hyped up, so we're trying to cool it down now. My favorite chair version of a forward fold is to sit just a little bit forward, but not too far forward, or you don't want the whole chair to fall forward. And then I like to bring my knees, my feet nice and wide apart, as wide as is comfortable, so that I have lots of room for my torso to fold forward between my legs. And then I'm going to start to hinge from my hips like this. I have my hands on my legs for support. I'm going to walk them down my legs as I let my torso come forward. And then I could let my hands come to the floor or to blocks. I could hold on to opposite elbows or rest my hands on my feet. And I'm just letting my head hang heavy here. You could even sway a little bit side to side. And just taking a couple more big breaths into your back body. And then we'll come up. You can use your hands on your legs to help you if you would like to. Just pressing straight up to a seated position. Take a breath here. You don't get lightheaded. And then sitting back into your chair so you feel the support of the back of your chair. Arms can rest however works for you. Hands resting comfortably in your lap. Shoulders relaxed. You might find a slight tuck of the chin and lower your gaze or close your eyes. And let's take 3 slow breaths to close our practice together. Please feel welcome to stay seated, stay in stillness with the breath, any amount more, any amount that would feel good to have this little rest. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I really appreciate it and hope that you liked it. I hope that the rest of your day is wonderful. Namaste.